Welcome to the studio, Patterns and Functions in Landscapes, where we explore the creative landscape typologies for Hong Kong, which is one of the densest cities in Asia. I'm Yoon Hye, and I will be conducting this studio together with Dr. Tan Po Yok. This research-based studio builds on findings from the Future Cities Lab Global Project, Comparative Ecology of Cities, and offered an opportunity to collaborate with graduate students from Tsinghua University Architecture Programs and HKU's Urban Planning Department. Hong Kong faces a pressing need to address growing housing demand caused by population growth, limited land, and economic pressures. To tackle this, a new town development plan focused on expanding existing towns, especially in the northern region near the mainland China borders. The plan aimed to turn rural areas into urban centers, boosting the economy and providing essential housing and infrastructure. However, the common practice in new town development involved clearing land with little regard for natural resources or cultural heritage. As seen in the photo on the right, the cookie-cutter development of urban fabric resulted in monotony, raising the questions about livability. And many ecologically valuable areas are not fully appreciated. Removal of sizable greenfield like the left photo, for example, can destroy natural habitat, disrupt ecosystems, increase runoff, and cause land degradations. In the meantime, brownfield in the existing rural area, like right photo, offer significant potential for development with lower environmental impact, providing a more sustainable alternative. We challenge ourselves to address Hong Kong's growing housing demand by answering four key questions as follows. First, how can urban development minimize impact on socio-ecological systems while maximizing human benefit? Second, how can urban design incorporate insight from urban ecosystem science? And what are the measurable benefits of these approaches? Third, what new landscape typologies can foster synergies across functions and scales? Lastly, how can design proposal both inform and test research outcomes? The studio will begin with an understanding of urban ecological principles proposed by ecologist Stuart Pickett that are valid for neighborhood landscape planning and design. We consider nested scales from the regional to the local level. And we also carefully investigate landscape changes and explore the way to incorporate landscape dynamics. While the function of each domain may conflict, our goal is to find a balanced compromise. Lastly, the design proposal promotes the heterogeneity of the neighborhood landscapes, enhancing biodiversity and ecosystem functions. The second approach is to bridge science and design. The theoretical understanding of the pattern process function relationship from the research team will be used as a tool to guide urban planning, design, and management strategy for the design studios. Ultimately, this approach will contribute to landscape changes, providing the valuable insight for future research. Design site is located at the intersection of Kyo Tung North and Fang Ning North, covering regional boundaries of approximately 2 by 2 kilometers with 4 1 by 1 kilometer area within. Each student is asked to select one of 4 areas to plan, considering the regional context of area A or B. The studio consists of 3 projects with 2 types of data. The first type include 5 layers such as biodiversity, hydrology, health, climate, and economic, primarily extracted from the data and analysis conducted by the research team. The second type involved broader regional analysis, covering nature and social cultural layers, relevant policies, and building and infrastructure density. The project 1 focused on the second data component, determining the development density and identifying the area to be conserved or retrofit, divided into two large groups. Project 2 is based on the pattern analysis from the research and is divided into four groups. The final component involved designing typologies as individual work. While the projects are independent, they are interconnected and an iterative process is encouraged. This is the workflow diagram for Project 2, Pattern-Based Planning. The research team will provide a dashboard and guideline for measuring and testing the functions of both existing and proposed landscapes. Quantitative and statistical analysis will be conducted based on your proposal at the end or after the semester, and your work may contribute to validating how these concepts can be implemented in the real-world practice. Here are some examples of what the outcomes of each stage might look like, but they are not limited to these examples. Several readings will be provided at the beginning of the studio, covering topics such as urban ecology, landscape measurement, and strategy for designing the neighborhood landscapes based on the ecosystem services. Here is the brief schedule for the studio. At the beginning of the studio, you will receive preliminary data and pattern analysis of existing site from the research team, and we'll learn how to further analyze and propose alternatives using the dashboard and guidelines. Each project will be completed within 4 or 6 weeks throughout the semester. The research team will be also involved across the semester. A 7-day field trip to Hong Kong is scheduled from February 9 to 15. During the trip, workshop and fieldwork will be held to facilitate integration among students from 3 universities. Estimated travel cost range from 1,000 to 1,300 Singapore dollar, including flight, accommodation, and meals. Depending on your nationality, you may also need to prepare for a visa application. The studio structure is novel, and we hope it will be a fun, productive, and meaningful experience for all of us. See you in the studio.